We've all seen the chart with the big E. We've seen them at school or the eye doctors for our yearly checkups. Or maybe it's just a cool poster you've seen on someone's wall. But what really is it? It's called the Snellen eye chart. It's been a tool used for decades. The Snellen eye chart is a tool that quickly assesses one's binocular and monocular visual acuity, also known as the sharpness of our vision. How well can you see fine details without any visual aid? How far can you see until things start becoming blurry? By reading off these letters on this chart that appear to get smaller and smaller the further you go down, it allows ophthalmologists to assess your vision. Do you need glasses? Or do you have perfect 20/20 vision? Or if you already have glasses, is your prescription the same? Or do you need a stronger one? These are all questions that the results of the Snellen eye chart answer when assessing the health of your eyes. But it wasn't always as simple as it is today.
Snellen, however, did not come up with this eye chart all on his own. He instead took the challenge from Dr. Francis Cornelius Donders, a physician from the Netherlands who was also his mentor, and came up with a very complicated formula about how the eye refracts light, and developed a groundbreaking formula known as what he called the standard eye, or a consistent baseline to start with. Envisioning the potential, Donders turned to Snellen in search of a tool and a solution. Snellen was up for the challenge to create a tool that utilized Donders' formula. Snellen wasted no time getting to work. He used abstract letters and symbols with shapes, but it didn't quite work because his patients were extremely confused. Next, he put rows on the poster with each line shrinking in size to test vision abilities from specific distances. He even thought of non-readers using it by creating the tumbling E, where they could point to the direction in which the letter was pointing. This practical, simple, yet effective tool was exactly what Donders had created and envisioned when he brought his formula into the real world and had Snellen apply it. This collaboration between Donders and Snellen transformed vision care as we know it today. Donders provided the instrumental research, while Snellen turned it into a practical tool, each playing vital roles in how we understand and measure vision. Even today, the Snellen eye chart is still the gold standard in vision testing across doctors' offices, hospitals, and even schools. This tool embodies the fundamental idea of, if it's not broken, why fix it? Modern versions of this test have become digital, but its core design has remained the same for the last 160 years. Thanks to these two individuals, Donders and Snellen, if an individual has eye issues, we can now quantifiably explain what their true vision acuity is, and we can intervene better, ensuring all people have access to clear, appropriate vision. The true brilliance of the Snellen eye chart is what went into making it happen. Tireless teamwork, innovation, and practicality. It gave doctors a standardized way to measure vision and address problems effectively in a straightforward way. For the first time, there was a reliable tool that could help identify visual issues or diseases depending on if the participant was able to recognize and recall less than the standard eye was on the Snellen eye chart. This chart used the information to decide if intervention was needed and helped provide the care necessary to preserve and improve eyesight. For the better part of 200 years, the Snellen eye chart has helped millions of people properly see, interpret, and interact with the world around them.
The Snellen eye chart acts as a measuring instrument for a person's capabilities to perceive and identify their environment. The Snellen eye chart consists of several rows of letters from the alphabet, with the size of the characters decreasing each line down. The participant is instructed to stand 20 feet away from the chart while attempting to read and identify each letter, starting from the top and working their way down. For some context for that distance, 20 feet is also the same distance from a basketball hoop to the free throw line. The shrinking in size of the characters is designed to get an estimate of the participant's visual acuity, as mentioned by Intoy and Rookie. The first line starts at a font size of 152, then 130, 108, 87, 65, 43, 33, 21, 15, 9, and finally 0.6 at the very bottom row. Participants repeat the procedure 3 times. The first 2 times covering one of their eyes to measure any imbalance in eyesight between the 2 eyes, and the 3rd time using both of their eyes. The results from the 3 tests are then measured using a fraction, with the top number depicting the distance from which the person has to stand away to be able to identify the letters from, and the bottom number acting as a baseline for how far the average person needs to be to identify the letters. For example, if a person is able to identify the letters from 20 feet away, their visual acuity will be 20/20. However, if that person instead needs to stand 10 feet away to be able to identify those letters, then their visual acuity will, instead of being 20/20, be 10/20 instead.
When looking at the chart, one may wonder to themselves, how can this determine how well I see? The Snellen eye chart is a simple but powerful test when it comes to measuring vision, where individuals are asked to read the letters from top to bottom. Being able to see the different letters in different sizes can help us understand how visual stimuli is detected by the eye. As the individual begins the test, The light enters their eye, which then hits the retina. From there, the signals travel to the brain, where the information is processed by the visual cortex. In that visual cortex, the shape, size, and patterns of the letters are then interpreted by the brain. However, the Snellen chart doesn't have to be all about vision. Out of all of the senses that we have, the Snellen eye chart can teach us about a sense that we may not think of when it comes to vision, and that sense is taste. Although the chart is not specifically designed to measure taste, it can emphasize the role of sight in our overall sensory experience. Research from the article Reduced Taste Sensitivity in Congenital Blindness indicates that sight is important for identifying and tasting different kinds of food. This research shows how people who are born blind have a lower sensitivity to taste. Because of the lack of vision, the blind subjects rely on their own internal hunger and satiety cues because they are unable to use other cues when deciding what to get. So, vision can be important in many ways and can interact with other senses to help us perceive and enjoy the world around us.
Did you know that vision loss often sneaks up on us? It's not always traumatic or sudden. Most vision changes happen so slowly that you don't even notice them. A tiny shift here, a slight blur there, and before you know it, your eyesight has changed. The human brain becomes an incredible compensator. Unconsciously reading slightly closer to pages, squinting in more challenging light conditions, vision loss is a silent thief of the night. For children, vision loss problems can be even more critical. Imagine trying to learn when you can't see clearly. That's why early detection is so important. Difficult reading classroom materials, challenges following visual presentations, potential misdiagnosis as learning disabilities, reduced academic performance, and even social challenges and potential emotional distress. Vision problems come in many forms. Some people see things blurry, some have trouble with close-up or far-away objects. These are conditions like amblyopia, distorted vision, and even partial or full vision loss. Vision loss manifests through a complex symphony of symptoms that extend far beyond blurry vision. Persistent headaches from constant visual strain, increased eye fatigue and muscle tension, reduced independence and mobility, and potential for social isolation and decreased confidence. At the cellular level, vision degradation is a complex journey. Photoreceptor cells gradually lose their sensitivity. Optic nerve connections become progressively less efficient, and microscopic structural changes in the eye can accumulate silently. Take glaucoma, for example. It's called the silent thief of the night because it slowly damages your eye's nerves. You might not even realize you're losing peripheral vision until significant damage is done. Some conditions like macular degeneration, especially common for people 50 years old and up. Others like myopia can lead to serious complications like a detached retina. The Snellen eye chart is a precision diagnostic masterpiece. A meticulously designed diagnostic instrument that captures the most subtle shifts in visual accuracy with remarkable precision. This isn't just a random arrangement of letters. Each line represents a specific level of visual performance. Ophthalmologists use subtle changes between lines to detect early visual degradation. The good news? Most of these conditions can be managed if caught early. Regular comprehensive eye examinations are your first line of defense. Step 1, utilize the Snellen eye chart. Step 2, have frequent eye exams. Children should attend the annual school-provided screenings. Adults should have a comprehensive exam every 1 to 2 years. High-risk individuals require more frequent monitoring. Step 3, discuss any visual symptoms immediately with healthcare providers. Share family history of eye diseases. Be specific about changes in visual perception. Your vision deserves protection. With awareness, early detection, and proactive care, you can preserve and protect this critical sense.